Whoops. Yeah, can you tell I'm a little sidetracked getting ready for the big Christmas show tomorrow? I'm hitting wrong buttons, playing the jingle off the top of the show. That's not where it goes. Anyways, guys, welcome to the show. Another Thursday, another episode of Simply Sessions. We've got Nico here. He is not choking to death this episode. He's much better, feeling better. And ready for some R&R for the holiday season. So very excited to get this show rolling. Thank you guys for being here, and thank you guys for joining all through the entire year. We got a banger coming up tomorrow, but we got to fill you guys in on the news today. Of course, this is live, so anything can happen. I defer to my festive friend Bill here.
Live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! Thing sucks!
Yeah. Of course, if you have not already, please do like, subscribe, share, all those things, super important. Hit that little like button just below the screen. Share this on whatever socials you may be on. And of course, subscribe and help me on my lengthy journey to 100,000 subscribers. We'll get there. End of 2024. I think it'll be in the pocket, but help me get there. Hit that subscribe button. Anyways, guys, I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your Simply Session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.
And before we bring in Nico, let's take a look at where we are in the market right now. This is timechaincalendar.com, and simultaneously, I am pulling up the live chat, so everything you say from now on in will be live for the world to see, for better or worse. But back to timechaincalendar.com, we are sitting at $43,905 per coin. A single US dollar will pick you up 2,278 sats. In terms of fees, we're sitting at around 188 sats per byte for next block. We've seen some crazy fee movements this past week. I've seen them 500-600 sats per byte. Be aware, use the tools at your disposal. I've been covering them in tutorials and talking about them online. Do the learning. But anyways, anytime 62 sats per byte, I would not give that any credence whatsoever. In terms of Bitcoin mined, 19.58 million of them. That's 93.22% of the total supply. Shout out to sponsors of the show, hodlhodl.com. If you're stacking sats and you have some priorities in mind, including peer-to-peer trading, instant self-custody, and no KYC, you can head here, sign up with nothing more than an email address. Once you're in, choose a currency, a payment method, and an amount, and you can start viewing offers immediately and stacking non-KYC sats. They also have peer-to-peer lending where nothing is rehypothecated. Check them out today. Links are down below. Of course, when you stack some sats, you're going to want to secure them with the best hardware on the market. CoinKite is killing it. I love my Cold Card Mark IV. It's my go-to. I have all their goodies like the Tap Signer, Sats Card, Block Clog, Open Dimes, all that stuff. And I pre-ordered the ever-living hell out of the Cold Card Q, which is fast approaching. If you want to do the same or pick up anything else that I mentioned, head to coinkite.com, use code BTC Sessions, or I think it's 9% off everything. I've been saying 5, I think it's 9. Anyways, it's awesome. Go get some Boxing Day deals and everything. Check them out. Of course, backups are important. Seedor is one of the most beautifully designed and robust options on the market. They have this disk and capsule design, which will keep your seed words safe from the elements like fire, water, corrosion, all that stuff. It comes in a full starter set to get you going with 1 or 2 seeds. If you need to put in additional information, you can do that on the discs. If you need to swap out a seed, it's as simple as grabbing some additional discs. You don't need a whole new set. So check them out. Links are down below. Depending on the location that you are shipping to, you can choose the appropriate link. Last couple here. Nunchuk has you covered with your assisted multisig needs. Their Honey Badger program lets you set up a multisig on your mobile device with things like the tap sign or the cold card and plenty of other hardware options. Once it's set up, you have baked in inheritance planning, so your sats get to your next of kin should anything happen to you. And of course, the whole thing is no KYC. So you can set it up and have it work for you without having to provide any of your personal information. Check them out, nunchuk.io, and I've done a full tutorial on that setup. And finally, shout out to Start9, your sovereign computing solution. These guys do plug and play devices to run your digital life, including your Bitcoin stack. So things like Bitcoin Core, Lightning Node, mempool.space, Join Market. You can also do files, passwords, photos, Nostr relays and clients, and some AI stuff as well. Be sure to check them out. They have everything from entry-level devices all the way to what I'm running, which is the Start9 Server Pure. If you use code BTC Sessions, the little plus sign at the end, I believe you can get a hefty discount off the Server Pure if that's what you're picking up. Anyways, guys, enough of my rambling. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get our good buddy in here. There he is. You're not dying this week. How you doing, man?
I'm alive. I'm alive. And if you're watching from the Simply channel, in the unlikely event that you're not subscribed to Ben's channel, go subscribe to Ben's channel. 100K first channel with the tip to break 100K. That's going to happen in 2024.
Dude, what are the chances that I break 100K before Bitcoin does?
I don't know. I wouldn't take that bet.
I don't know.
That's a spicy bet.
That's a tough one. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. I would love to get there.
You will, man. It's 2024. I feel it.
Shiny play button. Just cause I know that it's just like an arbitrary number, but at the same time, it'll be kind of neat.
It's an arbitrary number, but for YouTubers, it's a very, very big number. It's like one of the milestones that, you know.
Yeah. And I think it means something too, getting to something like that and doing it in a non-shady, like, you know, doing it through an educational channel, because it's fucking hard out here trying to build something when you're preaching personal responsibility instead of just screaming about how rich everybody's going to be every day, which you guys are probably, but but you also got to take some personal responsibility along the way.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, no, it's Bitcoin only content is tough. It really is. It really is. You can't do the things that all the altcoin channels do.
Yeah, just ape into a bunch of bullshit and trade and do a bunch of exit scams and we don't do that here. So, well, dude, let's investigate what's been going on. I'll bring up your screen here. What's top of mind? What's been going on?
So, I mean, like, bro, it's just a continuation of this trend, and it worries me, but also doesn't surprise me. It's something that we've covered on Simply Sessions for many, many months now, and it's this ever-growing creep of the Office of Foreign Asset Control, this ever-growing creep of censorship. And there's two big pieces of news that really happened over the last couple of weeks that I want to point out. So, obviously, we've predicted and we've said that it was coming to Tether. And the reason that we predicted this was we said that if it wasn't truly decentralized, it will inevitably be co-opted by government. And that's exactly what happened. But before I get to the Yahoo article, this isn't just happening to Tether. This is happening to other, Bitcoin related services and such. We all remember the wallet of Satoshi. I think I called Ben crying and I was like, Ben, like, they took away my Lightning wallet. What do I do? He's like, Nico, don't worry. And I could tell his tutorialness just came out. He was like, you got Phoenix and this is whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, like they took away. It was nice. It was nice. It's nice to have sessions on the call. I mean, on the, on the contact list. But yeah, it was, this is something that's been happening, this slow creep, and it's affected Stacker News. And I'm a huge fan of Stacker News. But it goes on to say, operating in the U.S. requires us to not provide financial-like services certain regions, even if those financial-like services amount to pennies of value on average, like they do on Stacker News. We are waiting on the exact list of countries from lawyers, but presumably any stacker located in the countries on this list could be affected soon. If the IP address of your browser session indicates you are located in a sanctioned region, we will prevent you from transacting with our wallet. It's unlikely there are many stackers in these regions, but as we continue working on understanding the laws we are obliged to follow, we will provide you with as many services as we are legally allowed. I mean, the original vision of Bitcoin, what will enable, you can tell what's happening here. And this is the tragedy. This is the tragedy of the OFAC. This is the tragedy of the U.S. sanctioned policy. We've made the case on Simply Sessions before that it is not compatible with an open monetary network. And it sucks. It sucks. Like the fact that there's a bureaucratic elite that get to pick and choose who's entitled to use money. And again, if sanctions were effective, the government of Cuba would have toppled. If sanctions were affected, the government of North Korea would have toppled by now. You know who gets the most affected by these sanctions? You know who? The populations of those countries, not the governments who are in control of those countries. And here is the most telling. It says in a recent letter, Tether's CEO, Paulo Ardino, who recently assumed leadership of the company, emphasized Tether's decision to disable its tokens in all wallets associated with the Office of Foreign Asset Control's sanction list. So essentially, you do not have a choice if you are a centralized entity. You do not have a choice if you are a business. And the U.S. government made that extremely clear during the DOJ Binance press conference. Mm-hmm. They made it very clear that they're not effing around. I'm calling it now, Ben. This is my last thought. There is going to be an inevitable clash between the open monetary network that is Bitcoin and current U.S. sanctioned policy. The two are not compatible.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's interesting. I feel like anybody that can't relocate to El Salvador is going to be we'll say a quote unquote resident of El Salvador through proxy just via their VPN permanently. Everybody's I'll just set that to ES and now I can transact freely. But I mean that's the reality of it. Like everybody now is about to go through a period of time where, as an American citizen, as a European citizen, probably as a Canadian citizen as well, you're just going to have to be, you're going to be jumping through hoops to pretend you don't live where you do, so that you can act as a regular free person. And if I'm going to toss out any recommendations, I love Mulvad as a VPN. They're great. They accept Bitcoin, and you can load it up on every single device that you own. And yeah, I mean, that's a great option. The other thing I was going to tag on there, you mentioned about Tether being frozen on all the OFAC specific addresses. Interestingly enough, on Liquid Network, they can't specifically do that because when you're transacting with Tether on Liquid, you actually can't see what asset is moving on the Liquid network. So you don't know whether it's Liquid Bitcoin or whether it's Tether or like a security or whatever. Like you can't actually see what the asset is. So you can't actually sanction it because you can't tell what's happening on the outside. You can see there's a transaction, but you have no idea what actually happened there.
Yeah. And it's just... Are we gonna all have to move to El Salvador, Ben? Is this what's gonna happen? Like,
yeah, perhaps, yeah.
BTC sesiones, simplemente Bitcoin. Like,
it's happening. I think
we'll get tans and stuff. We'll
I
have like margaritas. Is that like a thing? No, that's not the thing in El Salvador. Wow, that was fucked up. No, but we'll have pupusas.
I mean, they are delicious. I could live on pupusas.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever had an arepa?
I have, yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And what do you think? Arepa or pupusa? Be careful with your words.
Dude, I can't say for sure. Like, they've been so, I don't know. I don't want to lose a friend.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I actually don't know. I can't remember which is which, and I can't remember when I had each. And I know that both were delicious. I would need one of each in front of me. You'd have to not tell me which was which, and then I'd have to point.
Ooh, okay, okay.
We'll do that though.
We'll do that. Well, we should do that live stream. That'd
I think
be
so.
good.
We'll have pupusas and arepas at the next touching of the tips ceremony.
Woo! Okay, that sounds like a deal. That sounds like a
Some
deal.
of that tequila you pulled out last time too. Oh my God, that was a day.
Oh man, that was a day. Holy cow. Okay. All right. So speaking of El Salvador, El Salvador is pushing hard their freedom visas that were introduced by shout out Max and Stacy. And they introduced this idea of introducing the freedom visa. So essentially you pay a certain amount of money. We'll get to all the details in a second. And it gives you a path to citizenship in the shining country on a hill. And of course, I'm talking about El Salvador. So here are some of the interests. It goes on to say El Salvador's National Bitcoin Office, which Max and Stacey are part of, says its 1 million Freedom Visa program has already received hundreds of inquiries since its launch on December 7th and expects it to sell out before the end of 2023. In comments emailed to Cointelegraph, a spokesperson for El Salvador's National Bitcoin Office said it had received hundreds of inquiries and many dozens of applications online and in person at its embassies and consulates. Quote, based on the current level of interest, we expect the program to sell out by end of year. It goes on to specify that there's a limited amount of slots. They're going to limit to 1,000 slots per year. Now, $1 million is a lot of money. I'll be honest with you. But that is also raising a tremendous amount of money for this country. And the fact that they have this much interest means that I think a lot of people are, they want freedom. They want freedom, from either their countries. I suspect taxes play a lot into it. There's a good friend of mine who's also a good friend of you, Ben, that recently gave up his American citizenship. And the first thing that I asked him, I said, did you wake up and Hillary Clinton was right next to you, like asking you questions? He said, no, it was the easiest thing in the world. So what I'm trying to say is that I think the theory from the sovereign individual, you're seeing it play out. This is it. You're seeing it play out in real time. And I think that as, you see the rise of Bitcoin, you see the rise of remote work, people are going to start to question whether paying taxes, in their high income country is worth it. If you could just move to El Salvador, save a ton of money and live free.
Yeah. It's, again, there's going to be a ton of jurisdictional arbitrage, and we've seen it kind of play out with companies, obviously, quite a bit. We've seen it play out with high net individuals quite a bit, typically in domiciling their funds and their companies elsewhere. But I think we're on the cusp of and kind of already seeing the initial stages of it playing out on an individual level. And so, I know people that have left Canada. I know a good number of people. I mean, Francis Pouliot as a perfect example. He's down in Costa Rica. I know, and actually while I was down there, I had put out the word and said, hey, who wants to meet up? The couple of people that I did meet up with that were Bitcoiners that were down there that had moved were both Canadians that left in the midst of the craziness last year. And so I think we're going to see more of that, and we're going to see more of that as the rulers, the people that are used to having control over everything, are panicking and trying to exert more control, thinking that's going to solve their problem, rather than holding our feet to the fire to create better tools to avoid their power.
100%. And it also kind of exposes like the relationship between the government, current modern nation states, and the individuals. And it's kind of like this, extortive type of relationship. Like,
Mhm.
you know, like am I really getting the value of, you know, paying what, 20, 25, 30% of my income that they just automatically take out of my paycheck every month because I work at a corporation. Am I really getting that value in return? Like, you're seeing the president go out there. Like, I don't want to get into, you know, specific politics and whatnot, but let's just say, you know, the U.S. government sends a lot of money to Ukraine. And like, I don't support that war. Like,
Mhm.
what do I have to gain from that? And that's where my money's going. Like, what is going on? Like, this doesn't even make sense to me. And I'm about to have a kid. Like, I can't
Mhm.
pay for this. Like, where's the value proposition for me paying all this money, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, as more alternatives start to pop up, I think a lot of people, specifically the younger generation, they're going to start asking questions. They're going to say, this doesn't make sense. Why am I paying this? What am I getting in return for paying for this? Is it like the privilege fee for living in the US? Like,
Yeah.
is that part of it? But then it's going to get to a point where El Salvador is going to develop. It's going to be this, you know, beautiful modern nation. And then you're going to be like, okay, then what's the benefit of me staying in the US? I don't know, man. I see this from a mile away. I think, you know, these governments are they're going to be in a pickle as more and more people start to leave.
Yeah. Yeah. It's again, it's going to come, and it's going to shift exactly to that sovereign individual thesis where nation states no longer treat people as their subjects, but more as their or their employees, but more as their customers. And they say, here's the suite of services that you get for living here if we have some form of tax. So in exchange for your tax dollars, you will get this. Please come here. And then other nations will say, actually, we can undercut that. We think we could do the same with less and offer more to you. And so like you're going to get this competitive brain drain for people looking for the best standard of living. And I think, you know, up until recently, a lot of Americans, Canadians, you know, Western Europeans thought that they were kind of getting the best deal. And it's becoming abundantly clear that that may not be the case, and that there's a lot of places in the world where you can get a lot more bang for your buck and still have a good experience in a safe country. And so like I think that's shifting a lot, and it's going to shift more as nations look at things differently, and as you know, some nations go on Bitcoin standards and incentivize people to come there and provide an encouraging environment for entrepreneurial types.
100%. And I'm so excited for this world, and, you know, for our children, Ben, to just grow up in this type of environment rather than this like extortion type of environment.
Mhm.
While, you know, these politicians spend money like a drunken sailor. I mean, you experience the same thing in Canada. They're like it's like, what inflation? We didn't cause inflation. Haha, you're stupid. You know, it's like, it's
Yeah.
so crazy that they can even get away with this. But this is what we're here for. This is what Bitcoin fixes.
Yeah, man. Keep at it.
We gotta keep on fighting for our rights. Anyways, okay. So I do want to point out these two commercials. And I think it was Steven Lupka that pointed it out, and I love the way he framed it. Basically said, Wall Street is here, and Wall Street, because they're incentivized to sell the ETFs, they're going to spend a lot of money on traditional marketing, and that's exactly what's been happening. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, they got the Dos Equis guy, and it's so epic in every way. So there's two commercials. They're pretty short. Here's the first one.
Thought you would like to know. Satoshi sends his regards. Look for Bitwise, my friends.
Like, so fucking cool.
I like that it was kind of low key, right? Like that, like a Bitcoiner would go, "What?" and then you know, your average person would be like, "What?" but in a totally different context.
Yeah, dude. And then like here and like if you really wanted to put the cherry on top of this commercial,
Mhm.
it would have like, you have like Natalie Burnell on the right and like Jeff Booth, but like totally not looking at the camera. They're
Yeah.
paying attention to the most interesting guy in the world, and it would just like it'd be perfect
Yeah.
at that point. But yeah, man, so cool. Okay, so that's the first one. And here's the other one. So the other one was released by this company called Hashdex. Now they say crypto, but like we really know it's Bitcoin. I don't know if they're doing that for marketing reason because people don't know. But anyways, let's check out the commercial.
I'm coming in hot.
Like it's
I
here,
would-
man.
I wish they had said Bitcoin, not crypto either. Like,
Oh man, that
like,
would have been
just
great.
add that extra, but I looked at their handle and everything. They look pretty shitcoiny. So like these guys are going to be the ones that are like trying to pump the next ETH ETF or whatever the fuck else. Are you mentally prepared for institutional shitcoining? Because like I'm tired, man.
I'm so tired. I'm burnt out. I can't, dude. It's such fucking. Excuse me. It's such garbage.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough. Like I've already gone through cycles upon cycles of watching different people realize that Bitcoin is different from everything else. And it's gonna be, we watched individuals realize it, some individuals realize it. We watched companies, some companies realize it. Now we're gonna watch, larger companies and institutions and countries, and it's just we've got a bit of a road ahead of us. It's nice and unique being in a position to recognize it first, but it really tries your patience when you watch bear markets prove you right, but no coiners are yelling at you that you're an idiot, and then bull runs also prove you right, but shit coiners are yelling at you saying you're an idiot. Like it's on both ends of the spectrum. You get a little celebration, but you have a moron telling you that they were right.
Yeah. Oh man. It's just. Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But,
Well,
hey,
it's our job.
we're
It's
fine.
our job. It's our job.
Yeah.
The tips will outshine the shitcoinery.
Yes, exactly. My streak will outlast your shitcoin.
Oh man! By the way, I mean we had Nathan on when I
Yeah.
was in Vegas.
man.
So yeah, dude, we got to spread the tip army.
Oh yeah.
We'll get another one. We'll get another one.
Oh my God.
I'm a co-founder.
Yeah.
I was the
Pretty
second one.
soon, the tip army will be larger than the XRP army.
Aha!
I
Oh,
think we
this
only
is
need
how-
like 2 to pull that one off. The rest are bots; they don't count.
Oh man, this is how we win. One tip at a time. Okay. So also big news. Ben, I know that the Human Rights Foundation, it plays a special role in your heart. So a shout out to Alex Gladstein, CK, who recently joined as well. They've been doing Satoshi's work. So Human Rights Foundation grants 500,000 to 18 Bitcoin projects. So really cool. I just want to name a couple. So Mostro, a decentralized peer-to-peer Bitcoin exchange built by Venezuelan developer Francisco Cardon on top of Nostr. Mi Primer Bitcoin, very well deserved. Arabic HODL, NetBlocks. You have Lorban. You have John Carlson for his ongoing contributions to updating and improving the Bitcoin Core app project. Area Bitcoin, they're incredible content creators coming out of Brazil, growing extremely fast on YouTube. Berta Vale for Bitcoin education in Nicaragua. Bitshala, HackBS, Bitcoin Deepa, Exumia, Lola 33Ts, Groundswell, Kuprit Singh, Seed Signer, well deserved. Bitcoin Plus and Bitcoin Atlantis, also well deserved. And I think I'll be going to that as well, Ben. So I'll see you there.
See you there.
Yeah.
I'm bringing the whole fam.
Oh, Sophie. So okay, so we're expected around February, and it's right after. Um, so yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess it would be very dependent on how she's doing. I will say, those first like that first year, the kid's basically a potato. So like
I remember you telling me
you can shove in some travel there, it's fine. But
that.
then once you get to like where they start like
Thinking.
walking in toddler phase and like getting into stuff, then like, you know, for us or with our daughter, 18 months was like a difficult flight. My son's still a little crazy, but you know, you get past it.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Should be gone. Should be good. But yeah, I should be in Maleta with you as well, man. That should be a lot of fun. I haven't been to Portugal in a very, very long time. So I'm
Yeah, man.
looking forward to it. Anyways, in other news, we got more propaganda coming out of the European Central Bank. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They are blaming inflation on the weather. This, I swear to God, this is real. I did not come up with. Oh, it's so funny, the Bitcoiners. So I didn't come up with this on Photoshop. This is a real page. Look, I'll literally refresh it to prove it to you guys. And it literally says the rise in climate-related disasters makes it harder to forecast inflation accurately. This means we face more challenges when deciding on monetary policy. Like, what does the weather have to do with inflation? Like, you guys print money that causes inflation, but the gaslighting, it just continues. Like the line, and then not to mention, like, with this account has basically almost 1 million followers.
Yeah.
2 likes, bro. Okay.
That's so great. That shit needs to be community noted. And it
Yep.
needs to be community noted with statistics pulled from, I can't remember the body in which it was pulled from, but if you've read Alex Epstein's books,
Mhm.
in relation to climate related deaths, like here they're saying like, oh, there's all these emergencies and everything, and because of our use of, like, you would think that if our use of fossil fuels and everything is like worsening and worsening things, that climate related deaths would be way up since the dawn of fossil fuels. But actually, climate related deaths have dropped 98% over the past 100 and something years since we started using fossil fuels. So like, again, like when they're when they're quoting stuff like this, it reminds me what a great book that was.
Yeah, and it incredible, and I love the fact that he wrote something that was against the acceptable norm. Like, if you talk against climate change or nothing, like on YouTube or any of these platforms, and before Elon took over, X or Twitter, it is so, like, they've convinced people that essentially the Earth is catching on fire.
Yeah.
So the fact that he kind of went against that, he said, no, this is going to be a fossil future. You could tell that Greta was like, ah! Like melting in her chair. So
Yeah.
anyways, so moving on to, I would say, the big news, the big kahuna of the week. Once again, our favorite senator, enemy of freedom and humanity, I am talking about Elizabeth Warren. So she took it upon herself to write a letter to a bunch of organizations. But before that, she actually went on Twitter, and here's Stefan. And she said, crypto companies are spending millions building an army of former defense and law enforcement officers to lobby against new rules and shutting down crypto finance terrorism. This revolving door boosts the crypto industry, right? A bit of, remember, Ben, the iron law of politician and central banker projection. They project onto Bitcoin what it is they are guilty of themselves. And I love the community note. Cryptocurrency is objectively less than 1% of all monetary illicit activity. There is also nothing supporting the claim that it could threaten national security. Cash is untraceable. Blockchains are public ledgers. But Elizabeth Warren doesn't care. I don't think she's interested in the truth. I think she has a political vendetta. I might add, this bill, the anti-money laundering bill, which we covered on, I think it was last week's episode. I don't remember. It's all a blur. But this bill, she's gotten 20 senators to sign up to support it. There's 100 senators in the Senate, right? So it's 20%, big chunk. And to quote Pierre Richard, it would essentially be a de facto ban of Bitcoin in the United States. It would force all nodes, miners, free and open source software to KYC, which is it's impossible. So and they know it's impossible. Yeah. So anyways, Ben, do you want to comment before I continue?
Yeah, I mean, again, my favorite take on this was Guy Swan did a Guy's Take episode and basically went over what this was and his response to it. And he basically said, if this were to actually come to fruition, he basically said, a paraphrase of Elon, I'm sure. Go fuck yourself. My node does not shut off. If your law is that stupid, you will be the one tasked with coming to each individual house and turning off the nodes.
Yeah, I mean, amen to that. And yeah, I refuse. I refuse. I don't see it happening. I just don't see that happening in the US, but also I'm sure, people didn't see the 6102 order coming. So anyways, let's check out what, what this lizard person, what she wrote to the various entities that she was, very angry with. So she wrote to, the fellows over at Coin Center, which do a great job. But I actually want to, before I get into it, I do want to read Niraj response to Elizabeth. But essentially her, I read it to you guys as part of this tweet, right? Which is Elizabeth Warren was writing to these lobbying, like, hey guys, why are you lobbying? This is bad. This is what the Coin Center guys replied. And so he says, engaging like-minded experts to advocate against legislative proposals that one sincerely believes are unconstitutional and detrimental to the nation's welfare does not constitute undermining bipartisan efforts in Congress. Rather, it is an exercise of the fundamental right to freely associate and petition the government. It's everyone's right, and no one should apologize for doing it. Resorting to questioning motives often reflects an inability to prevail on the merits of an argument itself. Chad response by the fellas over at Coin Center. Absolute Chad. Now, here's the thing. They got caught in 4K talking about who actually wrote this bill. Shout out to Shane Hazel. We worked together over at Swan, and he has the clip. Check this out. First of all, this senator has no idea what he's talking about, number one. Like, you can tell, like, he doesn't understand the technology. And just take a listen, because it's interesting.
Senator Warren and I have authored the Digital Asset Anti-Money Laundering Act that represents a step in the right direction. Again, I think that this is a light touch. The first thing we did is we went to the American Bank Association and said, help us craft this.
What? What did he just say? Oh, bankers, of which, you guys stand to lose if this thing wins. Could you help us write a bill that would essentially kill the industry in the United States? Please, we need your help. Like, bro, you couldn't write this better if you tried. Absolute joke.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Very believable. But like, how ridiculous that they would go and do again. Like, where Elizabeth Warren has come. My original foray into seeing Elizabeth Warren and recognizing her was when she was roasting all the bankers over the financial crisis. And back then I was like, yeah, fuck those guys. Like they did some shady shit. And so it was her just grilling them. Like, what had to have happened in her life to basically turn around, and the very people that she was so against and the very people that she rightly pointed out were just absolute snakes, to turn around and be like, I'm going to partner with these guys and I'm going to get them to help me draft my bill. It's got to be that she doesn't care about the people that she's quote unquote protecting. It's that she wants control over the people that she's quote unquote protecting.
Yeah, I think that was it the entire time. I think that she got a seat at the table and she's like, this is kind of nice. Those things, like, yeah, but this seat is just a lot more comfy, and it's better. It pays to be an insider, and I think that they bought her off. I think that's what it comes down to. And, you know, that's why she's worth more than $50 million on a government salary, right?
Yeah.
Very, very comfy. But, you know, Bitcoin exposes all incentives, and, you know, these people, and I love the internet because it gets reposted and everyone just sees how ridiculous it sounds, and, you know, how this bill is just completely based on misinformation, not based on truth. Clearly it has a political agenda. They don't care. They keep going anywhere. They keep going anyways. So anyways, but I think we'll prevail at the end.
Yeah, man. I think so too. I think it's going to take a little bit of elbow grease, but we'll get there. We'll make it work. And yeah, man. Can I show you one thing?
100%.
I want to show you, and hopefully it uploads here just fine. But I want to show you what I think the answer to this is. So you heard that we did our market on Saturday, our Saturday market, and so. You know, this is put together with 4 weeks notice. It started as a tweet, quickly gained steam, and I didn't realize that there was that there could be this much quick support in a single city. Like I didn't ever think of my city as being like, oh, you can use Bitcoin all these different places, because that wasn't really the reality. But I quickly found out that there's this group of Bitcoiners in my city. I always knew there were some, but there's this group of Bitcoiners in my city that, like, if you're a Bitcoiner, of course you're going to want to accept Bitcoin for what you do. And so I think the answer to all of this, all of these draconian laws, is to meet other Bitcoiners, and not just meet and chat and shoot the shit, but like tell each other, what do you do for a living? What do you make? What do you offer? And do you want to accept sats for it? I'm sure you do. So what better way to tell everybody to fuck off and to not have somebody easily tell you no than just know each other and create a relationship and be able to transact freely amongst each other? I think that's the way to be. So I'm going to play a video from the market. And this is just kind of like a taste of the vibe of the whole thing. I think it was really cool. Here we go.
Together, me, my sister, brother. Everybody sing and shout together, me, my sister, brother. On est Canada, on va chanter pour vous. Un Canadien bleu pour les doigts de tout. À la Canada, à la Canada, all together, anywhere, we will take you on.
Have a wonderful Christmas. Thank you, guys.
My sister lived my brother's world. Everybody jump and jam together, me, my sister, brother. Everybody dancing all together, me, my sister, brother.
very, very cool. I love the music. It was just, oh man, it was great. That's fucking awesome, bro.
It was refreshing. It was like everybody feels like they've got a fire lit under their ass, and they've never been so driven to build this out more. And this was 4 weeks, and we got that. I can only imagine what the next one, which we're doing at the end of March, is going to look like.
Man, that's really, really cool. I wish, I think I was just so busy. But it looks so freaking cool, and that's what it's all about. It's about building those local communities, peer to peer, building those relationships. Because if you do that, they can't stop us. They will not be able to stop us, and that's what really Bitcoin's all about. And that was incredibly wholesome, and that I felt Canadian just listening to that song.
Yeah, there's a little bit of French mixed in there and everything.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Anyways, Ben, always an honor. Guys, this was your Simply Sessions. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Christmas special. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome. See you, man.
See you later, Ben. Bye.
All right. Everybody else, stick around. We have a few last tech updates before we wrap here. So I'm going to share my screen here really quick. We'll fill you in. OpenSats. So we were just talking about Human Rights Foundation giving out grants. OpenSats also dropped a bunch of Nostr grants, which is super awesome. A ton of great projects that are being worked on. I'm not going to go through all of them, but again, if you want to help out your open source devs, both for Bitcoin and for Nostr, check out opensats.org. It's a great place to do so. Odell, a big part of that. So yeah, be sure to go there if you're feeling festive. If you want to give the gift of open source development, please check it out. Anyways, moving on. In and around some of these crackdowns and limitations on certain services, we're seeing a little bit of this out of Albi as well, which it's not stated that this is the reasoning, but I've got to believe it's similar in the vein to why Wallet of Satoshi basically was like, nope, US, no thanks, and some of this other stuff that we've been seeing. So Albi basically said, hey, Bitcoin's ecosystem is growing quickly. The surge in interest from new users and the development of new apps surpass our initial expectations. This momentum is incredibly exciting and bodes well for the flourishing of Bitcoin app ecosystem. To deliver our value proposition for our current users and partners, Albi is currently invite only. New users need an invite code to sign up for an account. The Albi browser extension is available to everybody without restrictions as before. How do I get an invite code? Blah, blah, blah. But the interesting thing, update limitations. So invoice limits are 500,000 sats, which is around $214 at the time of recording this video. Volume, 5 million sats, around $2,000 over a rolling window of 7 days, or 1 million sats, $428 is the new maximum balance your account can hold at any one time. So this, I think, just applies to like the custodial Lightning aspect of it, but like a bunch of people use that and might have previously had more than that in there. Again, you can still use the extension and connect it to your own node, something like Voltage or whatever other account you like. But I think this is honestly going to become the norm for any custodial Lightning solution. If you don't like that, there are, and I'm going to jump ahead here, Phoenix is probably the best self-custody Lightning experience with no real know-how necessary that you can get. And so check out Phoenix Wallet on your phone. This is a feature that just rolled out for Android and will be hitting iOS soon. But the biggest hurdle for Phoenix was if you were constantly receiving a lot of transactions, then you would get hit with a lot of constant fees as Phoenix tried to make your channel bigger and bigger to accommodate for that new liquidity. Now you can actually pay to get an inbound channel for a lot. So for like, you could have an inbound channel for like 10 million sats, and it might cost you $50 for a year. Which for me, I do a lot of inbound transactions and outbound, but just to have that and not have to worry and think about anything related to that and just do Lightning transactions easily, For me, that's totally worth it. And if you don't need that much liquidity, you can bump it lower and pay less. So yeah, I mean, the reality is we're in a situation. I see a question here, which I'm actually going to bring up. When Geronimo was asking, when will fees go down? The reality is we don't know if they will. And so I think Bitcoiners really need to start thinking about how they can more effectively and efficiently utilize Bitcoin on chain so that they minimize their exposure to fees and hopefully do that in the most self-sovereign way possible. I think Phoenix is a great option for stuff like that. And you could always, get a big inbound channel. You could stack sats that way, gradually build up a balance. And then when you're ready, you could, do a swap service out into your cold storage and just store it there. Or as I've started doing, while there's trust trade-offs there, you could utilize Liquid as kind of a go-between in the interim with the end goal of getting on-chain Bitcoin in your cold storage. I think that's kind of where we're at. This is the first time that individuals are having to think like this and not just companies. So we'll learn. There's tools there that are available and more will be built. But it's going to be it's going to be there's going to be there's going to be some hurdles to jump over and some hoops to jump through as we navigate the most efficient way to do this. And then the tools will be built to kind of support that, I think, anyways. Okay. The other thing that I was going to mention, I pulled it up briefly there, but Alby also is beginning to support Liquid. It's in a weird form right now. I haven't quite tried it out yet, but it seems like you're capable of receiving Liquid, I think. Anyways, it's kind of odd, and you can't like see it quite in the interface yet. And there's like when you dig into the settings or when you go to see an invoice, it'll ask you to show if you want to show your Liquid address. So I'm going to say it's not quite there yet, but at least it's in the back end. They seem to be working on it, so it's a possibility. Anyways, moving on. I saw this pop up on No BS Bitcoin and something called Swiss Bitcoin Pay app. And, looks to be very BTC Pay server-esque, but with built-in options for fiat payments and all, basically having like an all-in-one, but like with Bitcoin as a backbone, which seems really cool. And it's open source and it's technically no KYC and everything. Obviously, if you're using fiat payments, then that part is KYC. But the thing that stood out to me was kind of down near the bottom here. There seems to be here it is. Yeah, they have added in a compliance feature, and this just kind of rubs me the wrong way. And maybe I'm being a little over the top with this, but seamless ownership signature, likely related to the Swiss AOPP compliance. The quote is, when creating your account with the in-app self-custodial wallet, so keep in mind, this would be your own wallet that you're linking to this page so that you can receive payments. The ownership signature that we require for legal reasons is automatically done and sent to our servers in the background. I don't particularly like the sound of that. And I recognize that this, again, is a Swiss company, I believe, and they obviously to exist in Switzerland, they would need to comply with the laws there or be shut down. But this is, I think, in and around that MiCA regulation where they want people to basically verify and sign messages proving that they own addresses and everything. I am not a fan of that. And if this is what it's going to look like, having any sort of a front-facing thing that's hosted that you can still plug self-custody in, then fuck that. Like self-host. Like that's when things like running your own Start9 and just saying, nope, not going to do it. I'll just host my own website from my own infrastructure natively and route around that, because yeah, to me, that's not okay. But again, I don't think it's any fault of Swiss Bitcoin and Pay app. I just think it's over regulation. And so, yeah, I don't know. If you don't like it, you're just going to have to do it in a self-sovereign way. Okay, moving on. Amboss introduces ghost addresses. So this can be done through ThunderHub, basically creating a Lightning address for your own Lightning node. And then that can run through Amboss. Now, there's a degree of trust trade-off there. It does route through Amboss's server. So there's in and around privacy and I mean, if you're receiving a Lightning payment, I think there's a possibility of rug as it gets routed. I don't know that Amboss would, because that would be like the second they rug a single payment, then their entire business blows up and they'd probably get not that much out of a single payment or like a few of them before people start raising the alarm. But nonetheless, it's important to talk about and be cognizant of the trade-offs. But if you're just receiving the Lightning payments through your own node and you want a Lightning address that can be hosted in a simple way, this is potentially a solution for you. Basically, you just go to ThunderHub and plug it in and link it up, and you're off to the races. So yeah, I may play around with it and see what's up and do a video if I feel so inclined. Cashew, Nutshell, stateless mints. So Nutshell mints, by the way, so this is Cashew is Chaumian eCash built on top of Lightning, basically near perfect privacy, obviously trade-offs and trust to utilize it. But nonetheless, Nutshell Mint can now run in a stateless, can now be run stateless, meaning that all state is in the database. This is a step towards being able to run multiple mints workers in parallel for heavy load scenarios. So yeah, continued progress in the realm of Cashew and Chaumian eCash on top of Bitcoin to further Bitcoiners' privacy. What else do we got last here? Oh, this is cool too. BTC Pay Server, they just added a CoinJoin plugin that now supports automated private CoinJoin consolidation during low fee markets. So the screenshot here, basically, you get to choose your consolidation mode, and then set the condition in which you would consolidate your UTXOs. So are those unfamiliar, if you've got a bunch of small pieces of Bitcoin sitting in a wallet, then that is a big fee burden. However, you can set it so that if you have a bunch of small UTXOs and the fees dip below a certain threshold, it will automatically consolidate those together to reduce your fee burden in the future. You basically set the highest fee rate allowed with the CoinJoin plugin. You set the mining low fee threshold for you to consolidate, and we'll just automate everything in the background, which is cool. See, we're already getting tools to more efficiently use the Bitcoin base layer. Great, love it. And Kooks, he's received a number of grants in the past, and for good reason. He's doing awesome work. Okay, and this one, last one, Nostr, Flare, a video sharing site built on Nostr. It's for viewing, uploading, and interacting with video content. It looks pretty slick. If anything, this might be what I'm looking for to begin having full-length tutorials on Nostr. Maybe that might be my solution. What I love is a plugin so that these live streams get auto-uploaded there too. That'd be pretty sweet. Anyways, from @Zach, he said, today I'm launching Flare, a video sharing site built on a Nostr. Like YouTube, Flare lets you upload, view, comment, and like videos from your favorite creators. But unlike YouTube, we can't strike, shadow ban, or demonetize you just because we disagree. Since Flare is built on Nostr, you are free to serve your content from anywhere and consume content from any kind client that you like. Check it out at flare.pub. So I'm going to be playing with this over the holidays here, learning about it, potentially uploading to it. And if you're on Nostr, if you're not on Nostr, get on Nostr. But if you are, maybe check it out. Might be kind of cool. And then last thing, guys, it's happening tomorrow, the Christmas show. This is the 3rd annual one. If you didn't know, I've done this 3 years in a row. the Christmas show, and look at that artwork. Like, come on, how awesome is that? That's so awesome. So that World of Rusty did that. Like, it's epic artwork. And there's going to be a little addition to it. We've got a couple special guests that were previously unannounced joining us. So Santa and Mrs. Claus, you'll find out who they really are going to be joining. So I'll probably drop that thumbnail whenever I get it here in the next 24 hours. Nonetheless, killer guest list. This show will start tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, and it will run somewhere in the realm of 5 hours. Yes, 5 hours. There are 8 30-minute panels, each focused on a specific topic with 3 unique guests for said panel. And then we rotate every 30 minutes for a new topic and a new panel until the very end, where we have the after party with a ton of other guests as well, all crammed in the room. I'll be partaking in beverages at the end there, so bring yours. Come join the live chat. It's going to get crazy. And also, we're giving away a ton of stuff over the course of the episode. Like, I've got a ton of stuff that I'm going to be giving out through the course of the episode. We're going to be dropping gift cards and hardware and swag and tickets to events, and actually just like tossing out like, you know, liquid Bitcoin to people. We're going to be giving away a ton of different stuff. But then when I'm through giving you guys stuff, we got Rick from Cloaks that is going to pull in Santa's sack of gifts into the after party, and he's going to start giving away stuff. So you're going to want to come and partake and keep eagle eyes, because there's going to be a giveaway like throughout just about every part of the show. And man, it's going to be a marathon. I'm prepping now. I'm a little nervous, but I'm prepping now. I'm getting myself ready, hunkering down. I got some more recording stuff to do to kind of fill in the intermissions and stuff. So I'm doing that tonight, working late. And it's going to be a big day tomorrow. So do not miss it. 5 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. It will be streamed live to Nostr. It will be going live to YouTube and Rumble. And where else does it go? Twitch, Facebook. I don't know why. If you're on Facebook, thank you for being here. But yeah, I don't know. People still watch stuff on Facebook. Actually, I think there's probably a good number of people there from there today, maybe. But nonetheless, it's going out all over the place. So join me. It's going to be an absolute blast. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it there. Thank you so much for being here. Of course, hit that like button. Give this a share to anybody that you think may find it useful or fun to partake in. And of course, subscribe. Subscribe to the show. Help me on my lengthy quest to 100,000 subscribers. I hope to hit it by the end of 2024. So help me get there. And then also, finally, if you want to help the show in another way, hit up the previously mentioned sponsors. They're all down below in the show notes. And on the screen right now, over here, there's a QR code that you can scan. If the free tutorials aren't quite doing it for you and you need some additional hand-holding, you can book me for one-on-one sessions. I'm kind of limited through the holidays, but starting back in January, there'll be plenty. Well, I don't want to say plenty of space, but there'll be some space. I only have so many hours in the day. You can book me for one-on-ones, and I can lead you through pretty much anything. Setting up hardware, dealing with multisig, figuring out how to navigate fees, all that kind of stuff. You get a one-on-one session. Anyways, guys, enough for me. And by the way, if you're listening on the pod, that website is btcsessions.ca. Yeah, thank you guys. I'm a little flustered here. I'm getting ready for tomorrow, but I will see you then. Have yourselves a wonderful day or evening, wherever you may be. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for your Christmas session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.